We wondered how all of these migrants knew about this particular entryway into California. The answer was in their hands.
How do you know about that? Oh, Douyin, okay, TikTok.
Oh, you learned on TikTok. Yeah.
TikTok is a social media platform created in China. The post we found had step-by-step instructions for hiring smugglers and detailed directions to that hole we visited.
Why did you come?
Take money.
Money?
Yes.
For job?
Yes.
There's no job in China.
Maybe, I don't know.
Customs and Border Protection officials arrested more than 22,000 people from China illegally crossing into the United States. That's roughly 13 times more in the same time last year. Many are following a popular path from South America to Mexico through Panama's Darien Gap jungle.
You look outside and you see all of the horror. You see millions and millions of people coming across the border illegally. We don't know where they come from.
We're looking live at the Fox News flight team over Chinese migrants trying to cross the southern border illegally. Griff Jenkins is live in Jacumba, California with the latest. Griff, what are you seeing down there?
I'm seeing a lot of migrants, Jason, and let me tell you, to put into perspective just how many Chinese are coming across the border, particularly in the San Diego area. In all of 2021, 450 total Chinese migrants crossed the entire border. This year, more than 20,000 in the last 4 months since the fiscal year began. Let me show you, though, they're not just from China. They're also from other countries like Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Brazil, but there are an influx of Chinese migrants. Covering this for more than 2 years, it was a heavy surge in Texas, but it's now come out west, Arizona, and here in the San Diego sector, particularly. Of the 20,000 I mentioned that came here, they have had more than 90% of Chinese migrants coming to this area, particularly in Jacumba, and that is a situation they're having to deal with. Along with last week, they had more than 73 different countries. I don't know what we've got this week.
Migrants are being dropped off. He has an update for us from San Diego. Bill, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Dana, good morning to you. We are in San Isidro, a part of San Diego right now where hundreds of illegal immigrants have just been mass street released from Border Patrol custody.
The border crisis was dumped on Southern California's doorstep at the hands of the federal government. Border Patrol mass released hundreds of illegal immigrants to San Diego streets as bus after bus arrived at a local transit station, releasing masses of men and women from around the globe who had crossed the California border illegally. And they plan to travel to blue cities across America.
¿A dónde vas en los Estados Unidos?
Nueva York.
New York. Going to New York.
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Chicago.
Chicago.
And New York.
New York. After release, nonprofit volunteers helped direct the migrants to private buses that took them to the airport and other transit stations. Some decided not to wait and crammed into taxis. Most told us they're here to work, but one man from the West African country of Mauritania had other reasons.
Why'd you come?
Because I'm not free in there, and I'm like homosexual, and they're Muslims, and they don't accept that in there.
So you're going to claim asylum?
Exactly.
And Fox News did reach out to California Governor Gavin Newsom's office to get his reaction to what happened here in San Diego today. They responded by blaming Republicans for what they describe as chaos at the border. They also added that California is, quote, a model of partnership for a safe and humane border.
Of migrants are flooding transit centers after the migrant center suddenly closed. Welcome to The 4. I'm Heather Myers.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Today, Border Patrol resumed migrant drop-offs at the Iris Avenue Transit Station in the South Bay, but migrant advocates say they're left to move on with no support.
No government support, absolutely no government support. The better circumstances would be if Border Patrol would drop people off directly at Old Town. It would take away this additional step that provides some confusion. So when people were first dropped off by Border Patrol, many people left that way, and I'm not sure I was able to capture everyone and to inform people that, hey, come this way. If you go on that bus, you might get lost. You might not know where you're at.
County Chairwoman Nora Vargas says that they've exhausted all local options. She says President Biden has not responded to her letter asking for support, including $1.5 million to fund the migration center each month. I also reached out to DHS for a comment, but I've not heard back.
So you just answered a couple of my questions. I wanted to know what a street release was. I noticed that everybody seems to have an iPhone. and that it's fully charged and they're using it. What I am wondering is, with all of this happening in the last 2 weeks that we've been showing between you and Griff Jenkins, has Governor Gavin Newsom said a word?
Not that I'm aware of. I know he's in Washington, D.C. today, but eventually, look, these images are probably going to cause him a little bit of a political issue, right? Look what's happening in Texas. They are fortifying their border with razor wire, with National Guard, with troopers. They're kicking the feds out, and their illegal crossings have fallen off a cliff here. What has happened as a result? A lot of the illegal crossings are now a big majority of them are now in California and Arizona. Blue states run by blue governors who really aren't doing any sort of resistance at the state level in terms of trying to stop these illegal crossings.
They come from jails, they come from prisons, they come from all sorts of places that we don't want to know. They come from mental institutions and insane asylums, and we don't want that in our country. We're not going to stand for it. We're not going to stand for it. You have terrorists coming in. You have people coming in that we just can't. We can't do this. No country could sustain what's happening to the United States of America. No country. So we're going to straighten things out. The border is the worst it's ever been. You know, in 2016 we won, and we had a bad border, and I talked about the border a lot, talked about it a lot, and so we're going to fix it, we're going to fix it. We fixed it very quickly, and in 2020 we couldn't talk about it, although we did get millions of more votes the second time. But now there's a spirit that I have never seen. We ran 2 great races, but there's never been, there's never been a spirit like this, and I just want to say that I have never seen the Republican Party so unified as it is right now. Never been like that.